Our next guest is none other than the Mortgage Geek. Please welcome back to the show, Vice President of Cornerstone Mortgage Group, Sean Cahan.
All right, here he is, the Mortgage Geek, Sean Cahan. How you doing, brother?
Doing awesome.
Right.
I'm here sitting next to you.
Yes, good to see you. You got a little sock action going on there. Those are our colors.
Man.
I love it, brother.
Yes.
Very, very nice.
Amazing.
Love
I had
the
to go with
orange.
the carpet. That's what I was planning.
Yeah, integrate the orange in.
Yeah.
So here's a big question for you. And thank you so much, by the way, all the help that you provided when this listing, all the people there who are buying homes. We'll talk about the reality show in a second. Just had the premiere. People really like it.
Yeah.
A lot of things going to be happening for that show in the near future. But interest rates is a topic of conversation for a lot of people who think that that's what's going to drive the market. So I want to know two things from you, because you know the mortgage industry inside and out. You know how interest rates are created. You also know how those things affect real estate prices. You're a real estate investor as well.
Yes.
If it's the case that interest rates go up, is it possible that that could be a good thing for real estate, or does it automatically mean not good for real estate?
No, I do not think that it's a negative thing at all. Actually, if you look at where the 10-year was back in like 2012, when we were like touching like 1.5, the actual interest rates were lower, and I think the banks are kind of holding back, going, that really didn't do too much on lowering the interest rates all the way down to 3% and 3.25%, even though you can still get a VA, an FHA at 3.25%, but not the huge margins on the back.
Right.
It didn't do anything. I'm going to be honest. So if the interest rates kind of come back up a little bit, I don't think it's really going to hurt the market that bad. I think that everyone is kind of being realistic right now, and people are just scared of what's going on in the market. That's why they're not listing their house. It has nothing to do with interest rates. Even though people will say interest rates, I just don't think that it's going to make that big of a change. They need to go up.
I think they need to as well.
Absolutely.
Because we're at a point now where there's no lifeline left. We're like at the end of the rope.
Yeah.
You want to get some slack in there.
I mean,
right?
Everybody has a 3% or
Right?
3.5% or 4%.
If you didn't get it by now, you just missed out. Like, that's your bad. You know?
I mean, that was a 5-year run.
Yeah, that's a long time. But you mentioned something earlier, though. People who are afraid to sell. I think a lot of that has to do with, because I'm talking to these people who are doing the casting call for when this listing. Every single day I talk to people who are thinking about selling their home.
Yeah.
Every day. And one of the things, the biggest thing for them is, where am I going to go?
Yeah.
Like, what am I going to do? So a lot of people are talking about selling and then renting because they're afraid to buy high. Everybody wants to sell high. Nobody wants to buy high. I get it. That makes sense. We've all been taught that. You buy low, you sell high.
Yeah.
But it's tough in the schematics of real estate because, first of all, are you moving up or moving down? That matters. Because
Yeah, they don't ever do a lateral movement.
Right. Lateral movement would be pointless, right?
Yeah.
So, the move up or move down will make a difference as to whether it's worth it or not. In an increasing market, moving up could cost you more money. However, moving down could make you more money. Mm-hmm. So it just depends. Plus, you have other factors in there like rent availability in the school districts you want and all those things that people are having a hard time factoring. So I think that it's just become so complex, bro, for people to put all this together in their heads. They're not like you, who works on mortgages all day long and eats and sleeps this stuff.
Yeah.
They don't
And has the
understand
opportunity
it.
to look at everything.
Yeah.
Have you looked at the rental market?
I have rental stories that'll blow you away.
It's horrible. People are asking you cannot find anything like decent for $5,000 and under. And when I mean decent, like a family going out there, going and looking for a place that's like a nice home. Because I'm constantly on like Craigslist and Zillow and just on the MLS, just like looking at different rentals, just to kind of, I always think that like when the rental market is starting to sky high, right? Prices are starting to go up as well, kind of like what we saw in like 2004, 2005, 2006. Remember how the rental market was like non-existent? So then people are like, well, I don't want to rent, I'm just going to go buy. Mm-hmm. Right? So
Exactly.
those start to link together. And we're kind of seeing that same thing on, should I buy? Should I not buy? And then everyone else wants to be like the Joneses, and so they're always going from like, well, I'm going to sell my house and I'm going to make $150,000, so I'm going to go buy $1 million house. And you're like, man, I'm really sorry. Where did we all come back around and say,
Full circle.
because you have the $150,000 of equity, that's great, but don't think of that as like income. You have to live somewhere. You have $150,000 of income, great, your net worth is higher. Don't use that to go leverage, to go put yourself into worse financial position.
Plus, you're seeing a lot of people on the buy side too. I know in your world you must be, who they start looking at 600, they end up putting in offers at places that are like 850. I mean, like people are just going so far beyond that realm of what we would call conservative or like the safe lending element. And I know that's something that's tough for you to deal with because you want people to be within their means. You want people to make smart decisions, but when they get out there and start looking at the houses, man, something changes and they just go crazy.
They do. They see like this some image, and like what we were talking about when you were at the office, like a couple of my good friends, and I'm like, hold on, you guys, I pre-approved you for like 650, 700. You're in escrow at 900. And I literally had to sit down and be like, I want you to go home and think about this. Like, don't tell me every excuse of why you want to be there in the school districts and all that kind of stuff. Like, go home and think about the financial side only about this decision, and then come back and tell me if like you want to move forward. And I even had to apologize. Like, I am really sorry that I'm bringing this up, but I care about you. And I want you to make the right decision, and I'm going to bring it up. So what they do with it. At least they're coming through me. I can give them a better deal, especially if it's friends and family. I always will give everyone like the best deal, and that's what I kind of give back to them. So it's better than having them go out to the wolves and get a worse deal, right?
Yeah, and still get the place.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
So it's just kind of like, it's kind of like hard.
It's troublesome because you have almost a catch-22 circumstance for home sellers, and you have a lot of people who want to be in San Diego long term.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's not like these people are going, I'll just sell my house and move back to Iowa. That's not the thought process. I mean, the thought process is, we want to be here and we want to be here for a long time. We just want to make a smart financial decision. I do like one thing about it, though, I'll tell you. I like the fact that people are thinking about it more. Because if you remember back in the day, there was only one thought. It was, so the last boom, 04, 05, it was just like, buy it, and then it'll be 100,000 higher.
And I'm going to be able to cash out.
And I'll cash out.
Correct.
That was the only thought process that was taking place. At least
appreciation, not principal pay down or anything.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Didn't care about it.
Interest only. Yeah. Who cares?
Yeah.
I want that fake equity. I want that fake money, that equity, that thing people keep talking about. It's so elusive.
Yeah.
But the thing about equity, the trouble with equity, and people have realized that too, is that it can disappear like that. Mm-hmm. It's just an idea until you execute a transaction. So based on that idea existing, it can be gone just like this.
Definitely.
So I like the fact that people are aware of this. I like the fact that they're consciously thinking about, should I sell and rent and wait things out? Is that the smarter, safer thing for me to do? And I think for some people it could be. But also, would you really be that surprised if 10 years from now we look back and we go, we're still running?
Yeah, I know.
We're still running.
Yeah, I think about that too.
It could be.
Like, man, Sean, you could be completely wrong. And I would be like, well, good. Okay.
Better out too early than too late.
Yeah. It's okay for me to be wrong. I don't mind that about the market. But being conservative and thinking about it is always a safer way to go too. But if we look back in like 10 years, I don't think that we're going to have the bubble that we did have, which is okay. I think that people just need to get comfortable and start selling and start turning and start, using the momentum and doing. You don't have to go from 500 to 800. You can go from 500 to 650.
Right.
Sell your place. Get it on the market. A lot of sellers are saying, well, if I sell, I have nothing to buy. Well, let's start selling more places. Mm-hmm. And then also another thing I think about taxes is that when you reach your $250,000 of equity if you're single, or $500,000 of equity and you're a married couple, the best thing to do is actually start that over because that's tax-free.
That's true.
So if you go above the $500,000, then you start paying tax. But if you sell it, take the $500,000, go put it down on another place. Guess what? Your whole $500,000 gets to start over again.
That's true.
So why would you ever stay in your house long term and say, I'm just going to pay it off and the equity is going to be there, because then you're going to pay a bunch of taxes? Always be turning.
Mm-hmm. And that's something that I think is starting to happen. I think people are starting to look at it that way because they realize, like, hey, whether we like it or not, I think a lot of people wanted to buy homes here in San Diego like they do in Missouri. Just buy it, eventually pay it off, live here forever.
Yeah.
That's our game plan. We don't want to look at it as an investment. We want to look at it as a home. The problem is it's an investment one way or the other. Either it's an investment now or it's an investment later whenever you sell it, but you may as well think about it as an investment the entire time. And I think people are doing that now. They're realizing like we are forced to look at this as an investment because it is, whether we like it or not. There's hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table.
Yep.
The market's right in front of us. We have access to all this information. How could we not be thinking about making a smart move? I guess what I'm saying is that in my opinion, I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing that people are thinking about it. But to go back to win this listing, the thing that we've noticed for sure is that when people are ready to sell, they really don't know where to begin. A lot of people don't trust real estate agents in general. They've had bad experiences with them. So a lot of people come to the show because they say, help. I don't know where to start. I know I need to be thinking about this. I know I need to be doing something. And we're helping people, and it feels really good, man.
Yeah, it's awesome. No, it's a great concept. It's the show, also the back end of the show, and introducing you and getting the word out that there are a lot of great people out there, which you guys do already, and saying, hey, aligning them with like really good agents or introducing them to like multiple different people that will all serve them instead of just kind of going, I'll just use my neighbor because he's an agent, or I'll just use my cousin. And hey, sometimes that works really good, but also you want someone that's a professional. You want someone that's going to get the job done, because during escrow, there can be a lot of things. Anyone can say, oh my gosh, I'm the greatest agent. I'm going to put it on the MLS. I'm going to hold an open house. It's really kind of like what they do behind, When do they order the prelim? Do they spot things that could come up in the future? Are they working with the lender on the other side? Are they just trying to drive things down their throat like you have to do this and not kind of looking at the broader picture?
Yeah. How proactive are they? How organized are they?
Yeah.
How much hustle are they going to give you for that commission check that they're going to earn? And that's what we make them earn on Win This Listing. Sean, thanks so much for coming in today.
Thanks, man.
Sean Cahan, the Mortgage Geek. Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free.